Hey everyone, right, we're going to have a go at making some pendants or dangles or whatever you want to call them with our Eco Pour. Now I've made all these pieces with Eco Pour. I've made them a little bit thick, on the thick side, because I have established that if you make them too thick and as thin as this little heart is about as thin as you want to go, any thinner than that and it goes completely brittle and it just breaks. Now this probably, because it's quite thick, is going to be sturdy enough for jewellery. However, I'm taking no risks. So what we're going to be doing is actually coating it, and we're going to be coating it with ultraviolet curing resin because we are trying to do an epoxy resin free project here. So first thing to do is look at what we've got. I've got some bits that I've made out of different colours. Now that one is going to be a real test of the strength afterwards, because I know if I put any pressure on that it will snap. So I've got these few pieces. I've also got some stickers. These are basically Temu bargains, all sorts here. And I've also got some very beautiful stickers from the washi tape shop. Everybody was nagging me to do the cat ones. So here are the cats. They're great. As you can see, I've already cut a couple out ready. And we have got some black roses. Nothing screams Valentine's Day quite like roses, does it? So we're going to have a play with some of those. So that's today's project. We're going to use UV resin and stickers basically on our Eco Pour pieces. And I couldn't find any videos of anybody doing this, so I hope this is something new for you. Right, first thing we're going to need to do then, I don't normally bother with gloves when I'm doing Eco Pour or UV resin unless I know I'm going to be actually touching the UV resin, and there's a good chance of that today, so I'm going to get some gloves on. Right, so we've got then, I've got a little rubber brush just in case I need to do any tidying, and I've got an actual paintbrush and a little pot of alcohol. Now what this is going to allow me to do is clean the brush in between, obviously, and because that should fetch UV off this little brush. If not, I'm just going to end up sacrificing the brush. So let's get them coated first, and then we'll have a play. I've got an assortment of ultraviolet curing lamps ready, so we're well kitted out. So I'm going to do this side first, then of course we'll do around the edges, and I will do the back as well, I think, just to make sure. So we're going to put some UV resin into a little pot because then I can brush it on. And make sure my little pot's clean first. My craft room is rapidly filling up with plants, and that was compost. Yeah. If you want to see what I'm doing mucking about with plants, take a look at my other channel. I don't really do a great deal with that other channel, I just put random things on it that don't really fit here occasionally. But it might give you a giggle. Right, so we're just going to brush it on, because this way I'm going to get a nice thin, even coat. And we're going to go around them all like this, then we're going to cure this side, turn it over, do the other side, and round the edges. So I'm not too worried about whether it's how good a finish it is. I just want the UV to kind of settle and sink into the surface. I'm just providing a base. Now we could put our stickers straight onto this, but I did find, I'll show you, I did an experiment the other day and I put one of the stickers onto a piece and then UV resined over the top, and basically what's happened is you can see all the edges because the stickers stop the UV from sort of soaking in and tinting. You know, it makes it darker, it looks like wet, doesn't it, where it was bare Eco Pour. So this is how to avoid that. We seal it first. Now the white probably won't change colour much anyway, so I probably needn't worry too much about the white, but I'm going to do it for the sake of completeness. And you'll see what happens when I go on to the red and the orange. I was trying to get like a terracotta colour there. I think I'm pretty close. So anybody who didn't know you could actually paint UV resin on, yeah you can. You can use it as a varnish, like so. I think we're going to need one of my big UV lamps for this. Now watch what happens here. This is where if you've tinted your Eco Pour, this will, well, it does what it does with a lot of things. It makes the colour pop more. And that is why we would have seen the outline of the sticker. Now there are a couple of imperfections in these. I somehow got a bit of white in the edge of this pinky red one, but this is just for testing really, so I'm not too worried. There we go, I'm trying to get it nice and even. Of course, what I should have done is put these down on one of my sticky silicone mats. That would have kept them in place, wouldn't it? Right, moving anything UV that I don't want to cure out of the way. And I'm going to get my big UFO lamp. I'll call it a UFO. Select resin lamp. It's great for if you're trying to do a whole load of big area like this. And here we go. And also it's got a couple of settings on it. I'm just going to leave this on, I don't know, let's put it on to 3 minutes. So yeah, you can do 2, 3 or 5 minutes with this lamp. And I love it. I've got quite a range of it. I was just going to say, I've got a range of UV lamps now. I think I'm inadvertently collecting them. I used to anyway. I've even got one that's about that. It's bigger than this mat. It's an industrial one for curing 3D printing. And I've got small ones, and of course I've got my little gooseneck one on, which is still one of my favourites, if not my favourite actually. For very small things it's so powerful, it's brilliant. One that clips on the edge of my desk. But more recently I've ended up with several of the little ones. I've got the little blue Q one, which I've still got actually, that's brilliant. I've got, and then Resin started sending me them, so I've got these. I've got one of the double-sided ones, I've got the little dinky one. I've just got a ridiculous amount of UV lamps. I have to say the Resin set are my favourites at the moment because they seem to have got all eventualities covered. This big one is brilliant for bigger areas. I hadn't got one that does this sort of scope before. The double-sided one is just pure genius. I've been trying to work out how to do that for years for when I'm doing my UV fairy lights. And the little tiny one, well, it's just handy. They're great in starter kits and things, and it's just for anybody who's just doing small pieces. That's all you need. They're brilliant. So, back in a moment when this is cured. But the main thing here was to just get that coat on this side. So, next thing we're going to do is actually start putting things on them. And then we'll do the back and everything after. So, easiest way to get the backs off these are the cheap stickers from Temu. But the easiest way to get backs off any sort of stickers, it turns out, I've tried all sorts of clever things over the years, and somebody said, why don't you just use tape? Oh yeah, great idea. So we're sticking it onto some tape, like so. And then we are going to try to pull it off. Now I'm going to take my gloves off, because this is going to do my head in, trying to do this with gloves on. Because what we want to do is just peel it away like that, hopefully. Is that going to come? No. There we go. Probably depends what tape you're using. This is painter's tape. Now, I've got a tall thin piece here, and I was thinking this rose would look rather nice just straight up the centre of that. Now what I am going to do, just need some scissors for a start. I'm just going to trim off the surrounding tape a little bit at the top, so that I don't have to worry about it impeding the little hole. Nice thing is you can take it off and stick it on again if you need to get it straight. And this, I don't usually like symmetry, but I do kind of want this fairly central. So what you should see is when I trim this off, which I'm going to do just with a pair of scissors, you can of course just turn it over and go around it with a knife. But what you should see is you don't see the edges of the sticker. Now of course the UV resin is going to reinforce the piece. Now we could dome it completely, so it depends what you're putting on it. But I think I'm just going to go for a thin coat, like so. And then I may cover the whole thing. And before, what I'm going to do, because I've taken my gloves off because that was just driving me crazy, I'm going to wipe my hands carefully before I go on to the next bit, because otherwise it won't half burn when I put the light on it. Wonder wipes are brilliant for this, by the way. They get resin off and everything. They're proper tradesman's wipes. People have said, why don't you use baby wipes? Baby wipes, some of the baby products, particularly baby oil, I'm not sure about baby wipes, but some of them have got like moisturisers and things in them that will actually can degrade silicone and definitely anything latex. So yeah, I tend to avoid those. Right, let's have some of the cat stickers. And also the smell makes me heave. Baby wipes are for babies. That's what I think. Right, this one just says you had me at meow. So this is a nice little cutesy one for any cat lovers out there. So I'm just checking that I've got it trimmed down enough, because this will be nice if it goes just straight side to side. This is off the cat's washi tape sheet roll thing from the washi tape shop. So if you fancy anything from the washi tape shop, that's those beautiful rolls of tape that I showed you a minute ago. Don't forget, I've got a discount code for you. You might as well take full advantage of that. That will be in the description down below. Their stuff's just absolutely awesome, and there's new designs coming out all the time. But there will be discount codes for everything down below. The Eco Pour obviously is the main one from this video, which is the actual medium that was used to make these blanks. It's one of those just mix it with water type things. Really, really good. And this isn't pulling the back off at all. See, this should be easy. I've got nails at the moment. This should be easy. Where's my little Cricut tool? Ta-da! Right, now I've mangled that corner, so I'm going to trim that off. That's a Cricut weeding tool, by the way, folks. Very handy for all sorts of funny things. Right, so this says you had me at meow, so I'm going to try and get that fairly central. This might be a little keychain for my neighbour, my cat-loving neighbour. And that's all it says at the top there. There's another little bit we can get. What else is on this roll? For those who are bugging me to do the cats, here you go. Your wish is my command. Oh, I know. Let's just put one of these little black. Oh, hang on. What about a fishbone? Fishbone. Let's have a fishbone. I mean, these shapes are so easy. I don't really need my little rotary cutter to cut these out. Ouch. And cut my fingers off in the process. So I've got my nail varnish is that thick at the moment. It's made my nails thick, so it's actually quite hard to grab hold of things with them. You'd think would help, but they don't. Oh, in with the Cricut tool again. Other brands of weeding tools are available, by the way, folks, and there are cheaper ones that are great. There you go, look straight off. There are cheaper ones that are great for this sort of thing. You can use the blade of your little craft knife too. I just find this easier because it's pointy. So I'm going to pop that onto my little tool so as I can see what I'm doing. Do we do it smiley face way up? That, oh no, the eye's the wrong way then, isn't it? Got the eye at the top, don't we? There we are. Now what I can see here is that resin that I hadn't cured is actually separating off, so I think we are going to have to dome it properly. And I can see I didn't quite get the edges of that sticker with my scissors, so I now have resin on my scissors. Maybe the knife would have been a better idea. Anyway, tell you what, shall we finish these two off and then I'll do the rest on fast forward as you can just see what I'm doing really, can't you? Yes, I think I should have done this while the resin was still wet. Okay, so we've learnt something. I didn't get the bubbles out from underneath well enough. And if the resin was wet still, that would have been good. Now these are cheap stickers from Temu. And I'm looking for a good size one that will go across both. Or I could use one of these really big ones. Oh, that's nice. Let's have this one. Let's have this fella. Because this is one of those ones that, you know, we're talking Valentine's Day. Let's have one of these each. His and hers. Well, not his and hers. Apparently, giving gifts to your besties on Valentine's Day is a thing as well. So maybe this is a bestie present. That might work, mightn't it? Look. So let's cut him in half. See what I mean? This butterfly is at an angle, so you've got the two different sizes to go across the two different size pieces. So these would be maybe a nice gift for your best friend. So I'm seeing little gaps appear in those. I was hoping leaving it before we cure it, the resin would seep under the stickers better. Oh, it looks okay, it's just not perfect. So, oops. So what I'm going to do this time is actually just brush this on again. And then lay the sticker on while it's still wet. So I'm just trying to weigh up where is best to put it. I'm going to have a little bit of trimming whatever I do. Okay, so that's that one. Don't forget folks, this is another do like I say, not like I do. I really think you should be wearing gloves to do this. I was just finding it way too messy and fiddly. But if you're going to be getting it, I don't normally bother, but if I'm going to be getting it on my hands, I do. The main thing is making sure you've definitely got it off your hands before you start getting a UV lamp anywhere near it. Because you will go through the roof, it burns. It gets so very, 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 very hot. Yes, I have learnt that by experience because it burns even through your gloves. So it's wise to get it off first, even off your gloves. There we are, so our image will be just patting it down, trying to make sure we've got no bubbles under it. As a one, when you put them side by side, that's the idea. Okay. Tell you what, let's get those cured up. And then, like I said, I'll fast forward through the next ones, which I will be doing with this technique because I think this is going to work better. Let's try it and see, and then I shall report back to you. Right, well those are all curing. I'm going to do something interesting with this little round one, but I'm not quite sure. It's going to be really fiddly. I'm going to cut a piece of this because it's curved anyway. And this again is one of those cheap stickers from Temu. So I think I'm going to try and put that on like that and then trim off the surplus. So let's have a go. So that's that hole in the middle. I don't fancy trying to trim around that. So I'm going to try to place this so that it's not impeding on the hole in the middle too much. Like so. And then when that's cured, do some trimming. We'll end up with a little bit to trim around the middle. There's no getting away from that. Or I could just leave it actually and put UV. You know what, I'm going to leave it and fill it with UV. Right, okay. Here we go. Last bit of curing, and then we'll get these out and we'll do something with them in terms of that final coat. Now, first job's going to be do some trimming where I've gone over the edges. I did a few more while that was curing, the first lot were curing. This one says, life is better with a cat. And it's interesting how the red of the Eco Pour, it was like a pinkier red, but now it's quite a red because of the way the UV resin makes colours pop. I don't know where my little precision scissors are, so these are having to do. Like I said, you could always turn it upside down, pop it on a cutting mat and cut with your little scalpel if you really wanted to. Which probably would be actually a tad easier. Actually, it is even doing it like this. Cut away from the sticker if you're going to do this. Cut downwards away from it, because otherwise you risk lifting your sticker. It should be pretty well stuck down by now, you'd hope. There we go, but we've got a nice neat cut. Now that there, I'm going to fill that up. Can you see? Can you see what I'm talking about there? I'm going to fill that up with the UV resin. Anyway, let's get our top coats in. Now our first two, we got a few bubbles underneath. Look, can you see? It's not too bad. I mean, for a keyring or something, that'll be fine. It seems a bit of a shame with that one, because you can still see where the edges of the sticker are a little bit too much for my liking. So what we're going to do now is fill these all up. And I've knocked that over again. And I will zoom you in. Now I'm going to put my paintbrush in that alcohol now to stop that curing. A nice bit about these silicone mats, isn't it? You can just peel everything off afterwards. Excellent. Right. So what we've got then, we've got all these were done by putting some resin on first to give them a base, and then just trimming off the stickers afterwards because that's easier once it's cured. Now we're just going to top coat and see how that looks. I still managed to get a couple of bubbles into the sticker on this one, I see, but I think it's going to be a lot better. It's probably just a bit of practice actually, just putting down the sticker, getting just the right amount of UV resin underneath it, and yeah, putting the sticker down like one end and pressing across carefully, and you know, the things you do normally to not get bubbles under stickers. A little bit of practice required. of course, once these are all done, what we're going to need to do is decide what to do with them. I mean, these big chunky ones I think could go onto like keychains or handbag dangles. The smaller ones could go onto, I mean, this big one, you're not going to get a bail to go through that top there. I would say you'd put something through it, you loop it and do like loop the like a cord and then loop the cord back through itself. These thinner ones, yeah, jewellery bails will go onto these. But that's up to you. Put them onto what you like. But I hope we're starting to answer the question here: can you make jewellery with EcoPore? Has anybody else found anybody really doing this? Because I've been searching online to see. Oh, I managed to avoid the hole on that one at the moment. Yeah, I've been searching on YouTube to see if I could find anybody making jewellery with EcoPore, and I couldn't. Maybe I'm missing something. Can't be just me. I can't even remember who first asked me about doing this, to be honest. If it was you, please make yourself known, because thank you for the idea apart from anything else. If not, maybe I dreamt it. I don't know. Did I dream it? Could be. I'm a bit daft like that. Right, we're going to cure these and then we're going to have a look. I can see I've got a few little bubbles under that sticker, but not many. So I'm going to cure these and I'll bring them up to the camera and you can have a closer look and see what you think. Right, I'll clean my brush out and my pot by just letting it cure, and then away we go. It just pops out. So there we are, that's all good to go again. Let's have a closer look at what we've got here then. Now, like I said, it's up to you whether you want to coat the back as well. I'm not going to, I don't think. But there we are. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? Now that should be a hell of a lot stronger. I mean, let's manhandle it a bit. Yeah, that's a lot stronger. I think I'd struggle to snap that. That one, you can barely see that there's a sticker in there. I did get a couple of bubbles under it, but not too much. These, don't know what happened to the surface. Everything's acting slightly odd. I think I just got some bubbles in there that needed to clear and didn't. But I think those have come out really nice. But yeah, I should have run my torch over those. The little cat, I can see where I've got some bubbles a little bit under the edge of that, but not too bad. And this one, I still just need to go in there with some UV behind that. So let's get on and just do that. Just so to show you what I mean, and then I'm just going to cure it. But that little bit there where the sticker is over, I wanted to just put a little bit in the back there, just to reinforce that so it doesn't get damaged. And in doing so, I'll probably, yeah, I'll coat the inside of the hoop too, just so it matches up. Yeah, quite pleased with that. And I can see I missed a little bit with the doming on this side, so I'm just going to dome that back up like so, being careful not to get it all over my fingers. And so that part there where it goes, where the sticker went over, actually has now become a feature of the piece. So I'm just going to run that under the UV again and we're done. Now, if this has been of interest to you, don't forget you can subscribe so you can see the rest of the series. I'll show you the list that I've got coming up while I put this into cure again. Just put that over it. Yeah, so the rest of the list so far, not necessarily in this order. I've got to find the video I made of this. But when I made the blanks, just for anybody who doesn't know, who hasn't come across EcoPore before, I did make a quick video of making the blanks. So I just need to find the clips and get that sorted for you. The other things I'm going to try is gemstones and other things you can stick onto it. I'm going to make spotty ones, glitter glue and ultraviolet glitter glue. Ultraviolet resin glittered. That sort of thing we ought to try. What have I got? Stamping on them. Decoupage, definitely. Now I've done that before, so I know that works. I know that works and I know that works, incidentally. That should work because it's simple. Foils I've not really tried. and I've done bits with crackle, but I haven't tried the bloom effect. Paint we know works, but how's best to do it for jewellery? So if you can think of something that you'd like to see me do that isn't on that list already, I say don't hold me to that order, that was just me thinking out loud. So if you can think of anything that isn't on that list already, just let me know, because I'll gladly add to this list. This could keep me going all year actually. I'm just going to keep doing odd ones here and there and adding to this great long playlist. Link to the playlist will appear up here, about here somewhere at the end, so that you can see all the things I've been doing with the eco resin alternatives. So that'll be up here somewhere. And also, of course, YouTube. I think you might like to see this video, so that's where you can go next. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you for the next video. Bye!